Here's my 3-month review of the Lomi Composter. About 3 months ago, I did an unboxing video when I first got the Lomi Composter. And if you haven't watched that video, make sure to link it in the description. But if you saw it, you know I was super excited and I thought it would be helpful if I gave you my thoughts 3 months later. The first thing I want to tell you is that I am still really impressed with this product. I've literally been using this every single day. I genuinely don't think that there's been a day where I haven't actually used it. I cook a lot, as you guys know, pretty much all day, every day. So I do end up with a lot of kitchen scraps and I've been running it daily. I actually have some in here from last night when I ran it. And I just want to show you, like, it's still so impressing to me that I put in kitchen scraps and in about 4 to 5 hours, I get this. Like, look at that. That is wild to me. And it smells so good. I put a lot of there was a lot of vegetable scraps, a lot of fruit scraps. There was some eggshells, coffee in here. So it smells almost like a sweet dessert. Like that's what I can describe it in, as like a baked good almost. Ooh, like a banana bread. I don't know, something like that, but it smells really good. So then what I do is I take this outside into a space where I have a lot of soil. Right now it's really hot where I live, so I haven't been planting any new vegetables. I've just been using this to top off some of the current plants that I do have that are still living through the summer. But I'm planning to use everything that I've been composting for when I start planting for the fall. I also want to add that I am impressed by how little I actually have to put into the landfill now. I noticed that we're probably only having to put like 1 bag, if at all, like those big trash bags that people have in most of their homes. We probably only fill up like 1 of those a week these days. Where in the past, because I was cooking so much, I felt like we were almost doing like 3, 4, maybe even 5 on a week where I was cooking a lot of those bags into the landfill. And at least from where I live, I've been told that about 60% of what ends up in landfills is usually organic stuff. Therefore, I'm actually assisting in reducing that because it doesn't decompose that quickly in landfills. So I feel really good about that. Like I feel like I'm genuinely doing something that's not just good for my plants in my home, but I'm also assisting with those gases and all of the landfill negative stuff that comes with just throwing things into the landfill. So you're probably wondering, like, do I need one of these in my home? And obviously I can't answer that for you, but I can give you some of my thoughts on who might this actually be good for. So I used to live in New York City. If you followed me along for a long time, I lived there for 12 years in the city. And I really wish that I would have had something like this there because I could have benefited from not putting so many things into the landfill. Like New York City already really struggles with trash. There is a literal trash problem there. So I feel like if you live in an apartment complex, this is the easiest way for you to actually compost. And even if you don't live in an apartment, if you live anywhere where you have a garden, where you have a piece of grass, where you have plants inside your home, like you could actually be turning all of your kitchen scraps into compost. And that's just impressive to me. When I first moved to the desert, which is where I live now, I was trying to learn so much about like, how do I compost? How do I set one up? I was asking everyone that was like gardening and how do you do it? And honestly, what I found is that composting is kind of complex and it requires a lot of time. It requires a lot of effort. It can sometimes be stinky. It can be expensive to set it up initially. So to me, this is so easy to do. I literally plug it in, I put in the kitchen scraps, and then I get this. So it's definitely for somebody who maybe doesn't want to invest the time and effort it takes to do the long-term composting. But I do think if you already are a gardener that has a composting process set up and it's working for you, then like, yeah, you probably don't need this, right? But if you're not like me and I'm super, super beginning or gardening, this is perfect. Lastly, I just want to tell you the one thing that I wish was a little bit different about the Lomi. And it's not really negative, but it's something that I personally wish was different. And that is that I do wish that the filters lasted a little bit longer. In general, they're supposed to last about 3 months, but I know because I use it a lot, sometimes even twice a day, I go through them in about a month and a half to 2 months. And so I do wish that I didn't have to change them as often. But I also understand why. One, I'm using it more. And two, they're only using carbon as the filters, which is good. We're not using any like plastics or anything like that to filter out the air. So I totally understand why, but I do find that I'm having to change them. And it's not really that bad. It's just sometimes when I run it, I will get a little bit of like a vinegary smell and I'm like, okay, now I have to change it. But other than that, I am forever impressed with this product. As a final thought, I just want to be completely honest with you. I did receive this machine from Lomi itself. They sent it to me just to see what I would think of it and see if I liked it. But this video is not sponsored by them. I'm not being paid to give you my honest review. I honestly didn't even have to make this video, but because it's been 3 months and I genuinely have loved the product, I just wanted to let you guys know about it in case you're thinking of purchasing one for yourself. I do have a link down below if you're interested in looking for one for yourself, but honestly, I hope that you love it as much as I do because I do genuinely think it's a really good product that's not just good for your home, but it's also just really good for the environment itself.